How can one cleanse oneself of the karmic consequences of killing? The Caminho Sutra teaches you to calculate the irreversible cost of life. Fear. The fear of the karmic consequences of killing. The truth is, viewing killing as an irreversible damage to the life system. The scripture emphasizes reverence for life. Extend compassion to all sentient beings. Many people are terrified by the descriptions of karmic retribution for killing in the Caminho Sutra. What we fear is not a punishment that is nothingness. Rather, it refers to the act of harming life, the immense sense of moral and spiritual indebtedness that arises from this. But the truth is, the scriptures emphasize the karmic retribution for killing. It is a precise calculation of irreversible damage to living systems. It requires us to extend compassion to all sentient beings. And not just humans. Unconscious killing at the dinner table. He habitually demanded that the kitchen prioritize speed over quality. Mr. Chen is a successful restaurant manager. He habitually demanded that the kitchen prioritize speed over quality. A large amount of food is therefore wasted and discarded. For him, this is only part of the operating costs. Meanwhile, in order to quickly get rid of mosquitoes in the office, he consistently used potent pesticides, causing unintentional harm to the environment and tiny creatures. Although Mr. Chen did not directly kill anyone, but his disregard for life resources and his brutality towards the environment and all living beings, he is accumulating his own karmic retribution for killing. It underestimates the life energy that farmers and animals expend. Food waste. Environmental toxicity. They ignored the damage they were causing to the ecosystem in which they lived. Spiritual numbness. His long-term indifference led him to gradually lose empathy for people and things. His karmic retribution did not come from divine punishment. Rather, it stems from the numbness of the soul and the depletion of empathy. What can we do? From killing to cherishing life. The teachings of the Caminho Sutra do not require you to be a vegetarian or become a monk. Instead, activate your cherish life mode. Calculate irreversible costs when making any decisions related to resources and the environment. Incorporate the consideration of life cost. Ask yourself, is this waste or harm necessary and reversible? Extending compassion. Extend your care from people to things and environment. Mr. Chen can implement a zero-waste kitchen. We switched to environmentally friendly and non-toxic methods to repel insects. Spiritual healing. Through the practice of focusing on a single thought of reverence. Repairing the emotional coldness caused by disregard for life. Every moment of cherishing and gratitude. All of these are powerful cleansings of the karmic consequences of killing. A true cleansing. It stems from reverence for life. Infuse compassion into every choice you
is the idea that evil will be punished, too negative. No, it's your quality assurance certificate for your actions. Puzzling, clinging to fatalism based on the principle of karmic retribution. The truth is, retribution is not destiny. It is the feedback of the law. Reverence for the law. Evil begets evil, your action quality guarantee. Negative fatalism. The phrase, evil begets evil, evokes negative feelings in many people. This makes us resist the law of good and evil. This makes us resist the law of good and evil. This view is considered an inescapable fatalism which only increases people's fear. But the truth is, retribution is not the universe's punishment for you. It is the universe's precise feedback on the quality of your actions. It is a kind of reverence for the law. Ensure the system is not compromised by malicious behavior. Apply to daily life. The karma cycle for programmers. Mr. Wang is a senior programmer. He habitually writes poor, shoddy code, i.e., irresponsible behavior, in pursuit of short-term delivery. He knew all too well that this code was riddled with technical debt. But in order to leave work early, he always just got by. At first, he felt relieved, but 3 months later, he began to experience his own cycle of retribution. System crash. The bad code caused the system to crash frequently, and he had to spend several times the amount of time fixing it. Emotional outburst. The stress and internal conflict he experienced during his recovery led to emotional violence against his colleagues and family. Trust collapse. The team lost trust in him, and his professional evaluation plummeted. Mr. Wang's retribution was not an external punishment. What we can do, transform the fear of rules into reverence for quality. This is the modern version of the difference in karmic retribution in the Caminho Sutra. The Caminho Sutra teaches us to maintain reverence for the laws, as emphasized in the chapter on the praise of Yama, the king of hell. The activation of the law. Treating evil begets evil as a *** quality assurance system. Every perfunctory action leaves a technical debt in your life system. Ultimately, it will inevitably repay you with several times the pain. Focused purification. The method of focusing on reciting the Buddha's name, Chapter 9. Purify your mind before taking action to ensure the success of every action. All are based on the motivation of purity and responsibility. School attendance behavior. Like the 10th chapter on measuring generosity, measure your actions. Ask yourself, will my current actions bring me long-term stability, good fortune? Or is it short-term relief followed by eventual collapse, karma? Reverence for the law. It can free you from being a victim of fate. Transform into a designer of high-quality actions. Can life and death be determined in a single thought? Seize that 1 second. It's your golden opportunity to change your mind. Fear that I might have a bad thought on my deathbed. The truth is, the scriptures emphasize the immense power of thought. This isn't meant to scare you, but rather to teach you how to train your focus. Life and death can be determined in a single thought. Seize that 1 second, golden opportunity to change your mind. Our misunderstanding of it, the immense fear of death. Life and death are determined in a single thought, is the most powerful statement in the Caminho Sutra. The sentence that is also most likely to instill fear. Many people worry that they will fail at the last moment of their lives due to unwholesome thoughts. Increasing the psychological pressure. The scriptures, especially Chapter 7, benefits for the living and the dead, and Chapter 9, reciting the Buddha's name. The emphasis is not on fear, but on the immense power of mental energy. This isn't meant to scare you, but rather to teach you how to train your focus. Make sure that even in the most stressful moments, your mind remains focused on good. Applying this to everyday life. A life or death moment in the office. Ms. Wang is a senior manager. She faced harsh criticism from clients at the meeting today. She felt extremely angry, aggrieved, and humiliated. In the split second before anger erupts, i.e., a single thought. She faced a life or death decision. Evil thoughts, hell. Immediately send an emotionally charged retaliatory email in the group. Completely destroying relationships with clients, plunging one into an eternal hell of regret. Good thoughts, pure land. Pause, take a deep breath, and focus your mind on the goals of solving the problem and maintaining professionalism. She chose the latter. She told herself, now is not the time for emotions. She applied the principle of reciting the Buddha's name from the 9th chapter of the Caminho Sutra. I silently repeated the anchor point, stay professional, in my mind for a few seconds. This brief moment of focus successfully broke the momentum of her anger. A workplace crisis was averted. How we can do this: train your mindset muscles. The Caminho Sutra teaches us to apply the immense power of a single thought to the present moment, recognizing the golden opportunity. Your moment of life and death does not only occur at the moment of death. It happens in every moment when emotions are about to spiral out of control. This is your golden opportunity to change your mind. Mind anchoring, employing focus minimalism. When anger, anxiety, and the inertia of procrastination surface, immediately anchor your thoughts to a pure word or goal, such as love, profession, peace. This quality of a single thought of reverence is your most powerful self-correcting force. Accumulated final assets. As stated in the 7th chapter, every successful change of mind nowadays. All of this is accumulating clean endgame assets for your life. Train your mental muscles so that they can automatically navigate toward good even under stress. Seize every fleeting moment in your life. You will then be able to control the life and death of your mind. Is chanting scriptures too difficult? No need to become a monk. It is your most powerful tool for mental self-discipline. You think chanting scriptures is a religious ritual. But in reality, chanting scriptures is a training for purifying speech. It allows you to channel your scattered language and mental energy. Focus on a high-frequency, clear voice. Is reciting scriptures too difficult? But in fact, it is your most powerful tool for mental self-discipline. There is no conflict between religious rituals and time constraints. Many people are resistant to chanting scriptures. It is considered a religious ritual, out of step with busy modern life. We often think, I don't even have time to exercise, how could I have time to become a monk and chant scriptures? But actually, the Caminho Sutra mentions reciting the name and chanting the sutra. Its core value lies in being a highly effective tool for mental self-discipline. Its purpose is not for you to complete the ritual. Instead, it trains you to achieve speech purity. Disperse your language and mental energy. Focus on a high-frequency, clear voice. Using everyday life as an example, fragmented focus due to mobile phones. Mr. Lee is a marketing manager, and his biggest problem is unclear speech. At work, he was constantly distracted by phone notifications and fragmented information from social media. In his spare time, his mind is filled with criticism, complaints, and gossip about others. His speech karma was like a scattered electromagnetic wave, causing him to disorganized output. The language lacks focus, and presentations in meetings often go off topic. Inner fatigue, the constant internal nagging and criticism drains one's energy. Deteriorating relationships, unintentional negative words hurt those closest to you. Mr. Lee is suffering from the karmic retribution of disorganized speech. What he needs is not a ceremony. Rather, it is a tool that can force the mind to focus. How can we practice purity of speech through chanting scriptures? View chanting as a form of spiritual retraining. Focus on minimalism. Reciting scriptures or chanting names. It's like forcibly locking your chaotic thoughts onto a stable, meaningful frequency. When you focus on the text and audio of the scripture, your mind will no longer be able to engage in internal conflict, criticism, or complaints. This is the principle behind purifying your mind in a second. Feedback from a pure and clean speech. When you practice chanting scriptures or reciting names, such as silently reciting Namo Escuchada Bodhisattva, you'll find that your everyday language becomes clearer, more powerful, and less negative. This is because you replaced scattered negative speech with clean speech. No need to become a monk, start with 3 minutes. You don't need to read it all the way through. You can start with 10 minutes a day, or even just reading one chapter. What's important is the quality of your focus in the present moment. Treat chanting as a daily ritual to clear away fragmented information from your phone. The value of chanting scriptures. It's about giving you a key to self-discipline. It empowers you to take control of your language and thought processes. Is reciting the name of Escuchada Bodhisattva too superstitious? No, it's your built-in moral compass GPS. Human misconception: receiving a name depends on divine power. But in reality, naming oneself is actively anchoring one's heart on the supreme ethical coordinate of Escuchada Bodhisattva's great vow. You are not reciting his name. Reciting the name of Escuchada Bodhisattva, it's your built-in moral compass GPS. We are easily misled into blind superstition and reliance on divine power. Many modern people regard reciting the name of Escuchada Bodhisattva as a superstition. This is seen as relying on the power of a deity to solve problems in times of difficulty. Lack of rationality and autonomy. But the truth is, the true power of reciting the name, it does not depend on external, divine power. It lies in your active anchoring of your heart on the supreme ethical coordinate of Escuchada Bodhisattva's great vow. You're not reciting his name, but rather the high-quality personality you aspire to become. Applying this to our daily lives, the GPS malfunction of moral decision-making. Mr. Chen is a purchasing manager at a technology company. He is facing a huge moral choice. The supplier hinted to him that if he awarded him a contract for a certain project, this would allow him to give Mr. Chen a generous kickback. At the moment of facing temptation, Mr. Chen's moral compass GPS has completely malfunctioned. Tempting noise. My mind raced, calculating what I could buy with that money, my heart pounding. The maze of decision-making. He knew it was wrong. However, the noise of short-term interests outweighed the long-term principles. He was in a state of distracted consciousness, unable to make clear moral judgments. He was not facing a test from gods or Buddhas. Rather, it is a crisis of impending collapse of personal moral principles. What we can do: activate the built-in Great Wish GPS. The recitation of the name, taught in the Escuchada Sutra, is the best way to activate the built-in moral compass. Anchoring of thoughts. When Mr. Chen felt his mind was scattered and his moral principles were beginning to blur, he can pause and silently recite Namo Escuchada Bodhisattva in his heart. The audio and meaning of this name immediately shift his mind away from the low-frequency noise of greed. Forced to return to the high-frequency coordinates of Caminho Bodhisattva's great vows of responsibility, selflessness, and altruism. Clear navigation. When the mind is stable, the moral law naturally emerges. He stopped thinking about what I can get. Instead, we should consider what would Caminho Bodhisattva do. Does this align with his long-term responsibility to everyone? Autonomous decision-making. Ultimately, he did not rely on divine power to make decisions for him. Instead, they made the choice to refuse kickbacks independently and clearly. Because he set his mind on, recalibrated with the highest ethical standards. Every name you recite, they are all directed at themselves. My inner declaration, I want to become a responsible and accountable person. Reciting the name is the highest form of spiritual self-discipline.